Howdy everybody, welcome back to the Game Bean. I'm your host Brandon Alanis, and we are not on hiatus this week. I thought there was going to be some must-cover stories and decided I should probably make time to film this. So we also have a new setup this week. You can see our releases of the week at the start of the program now, so get a good look at them. This change should help streamline the process of getting to the news. So I hope you guys like the change, and because after all, you are here for the news, so trying to get to that as fast as we can should be the priority. So without further ado, let's get to our headlines of the week. A Minecraft movie, and yes, that is the official name, received its first trailer this week, giving us our first look at this live-action attempt at the best-selling game of all time. Directed by Jared Hess, the main man behind Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre, we got a look at creepers, piglins, and even the sheep. The world looks unique, to say the least, and while the internet's reaction to how everything looks is, well, we'll just say pretty negative, I actually kind of like the way everything looks. It has a certain charm to it, and we also had a look at the main cast, including Jason Momoa, Emma Myers, and Jack Black, who will be portraying Steve himself. The trailer also showed us some of the iconic Minecraft things from the games, like the crafting and the villages, and we even see floating cubes when he like breaks a tree and you see that floating little wood block. We've been on a pretty good run of video game adaptations, so if we're gonna just ignore Borderlands, hopefully Minecraft can reach the heights of some of the great ones that we've had in the last couple years. But I'll definitely be there day one to watch Minecraft in IMAX when it travels into theaters on April 4th, 2025. NoMan'sSky received another huge update this week, titled Aquarius. As you would expect from that name, the update has a focus on the waters of the game, bringing fishing to the game. With that comes a huge variety of features, such as bait, because, well, obviously you can't fish without bait, a skiff that you can use in the water, messages in bottles, a deep water jetpack, and a diving suit. NoMan'sSky is still set to receive another big update sometime before the end of the year, and it's honestly kind of amazing how much stuff they keep adding to this thing. Astroneer will be receiving its first ever paid expansion this year with Glitch Walkers. The new DLC will bring a whole new planet to explore called Ayulaz, definitely saying that wrong. The developer said that this will be their biggest, most complex one yet, with new biomes, enemies, and a whole new tech tree for players to go through. The look of the new planet seems really awesome, and I'm really excited to jump in sometime later this year. Keeping with the chain of video game updates, two of last year's biggest RPGs had some news to share this week. Starfield's Shattered Space expansion is just weeks away from launch, and Bethesda shared some more details on the expansion. The DLC will see 50 new locations to discover, an all-new type of grenade that was hinted as being gross, and that the Zealot, Spacer, and Crimson Fleet will also make an appearance in the DLC. The other RPG news were from Baldur's Gate 3, as Patch 7 launched on PC this week. The update brings official mod support to the game, 13 cinematics for those doing a Dark Urge playthrough, and some changes to split-screen gameplay that bring it more in line with Divinity Original Sin 2's fantastic co-op. Although there was some speculation, this will not be the final update to the game, as the studio said they will still have some stuff cooking. A new trailer for Mario&Luigi Brothership was released this week, giving us a close look at the game setting, Concordia. The environments are beautiful, and the art style the game is going for is shaping up to be an all-timer in my opinion. Seeing that classic 2D art from the old games come to life in 3D is something else. Plus, it's cool to see some new characters with the Concordians. The game will seem to take place on multiple islands, with the brothers traveling from each one to help slay the monsters affecting them. Mario&Luigi Brothership launches on November 7th, 2024 for Nintendo Switch. Capcom and Xbox seem to have worked out an issue that was stopping the release of some of their upcoming fighting game collections, as the company announced that both Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics and Capcom Fighting Collection 2 will both make their way to Xbox in 2025. Rumors swirled a couple months ago that MT Framework, the engine both collections run on, had its Xbox One support retired. The engine does not work on current gen machines, which is why they'll be playable through backwards compatibility on both PlayStation and Xbox. It's good to see more people getting the chance to play some of these amazing games. Perhaps the biggest story of the week though, Sony and PlayStation announced that Concord, which launched just 2 weeks ago, is shutting down. In a blog post, the studio announced that the game's initial launch did not go the way they planned. To kind of put an eye on how bad Concord's launch was, the game didn't even crack 700 concurrent players on Steam, and according to IGN, probably only sold around 25,000 copies on both PC and PlayStation. And while I don't like to exaggerate usually, Concord was a multi-million-dollar project, meaning this might actually be one of the biggest video game disasters of all time, and everybody who bought a copy will be refunded and the game will be pulled from sale. And I don't know why I found this funny, but players spent the week following the announcement throwing themselves off the map every match in the hopes of getting the platinum trophy before the servers were killed today. Also, as we talked about a couple weeks back, Concord is set to have an upcoming episode in the video game anthology show Secret Level, and IGN has reported that that episode will still premiere, so maybe Concord will ride again one day. I do hope all the developers get a second shot though, as a lot of things on display in Concord do show potential. But here's my personal opinion on why Concord failed though. A hero shooter with the funding and motion capture of a big AAA Sony project was doomed from the start. People have already chosen their live service games, and if you aren't going to be doing anything new, you'll find yourself having a hard time cracking the market. By all intents and purposes, Concord isn't a bad game, but charging $40 for the hopes that millions of people will play your game is already a miracle shot. I would go as far to say that it highlights one of the biggest issues with the current AAA market. PlayStation launched Astrobot this week, and it's currently sitting at a 95 on OpenCritic. I expect we'll be hearing some good sales numbers for it, and it's a AAA title. It's built with the intention of being a tighter, smaller game. The reason Nintendo isn't facing the current financial issues that both Xbox and PlayStation and many other developers are facing is that they're making games like Astrobot. We are watching budgets balloon, development times hit 6 to 7 years on average, and companies continually laying off staff. This bubble of pushing games to the edge in the graphics and gameplay, all new heights and innovating in every aspect, it's hurting the industry. I'm not saying we need games to be shorter and cheaper, but this is one of the reasons we're seeing Xbox games on PlayStation and PlayStation games on PC. Of course, this is all a big simplification, and I hope the industry can get a hold of itself and that we keep seeing great games release. Quick note, for those of you who are going to say there's no good games nowadays, go play more video games, because there's been some amazing stuff recently like Outlaws, Wukong, Warhammer 40k, and Astrobot just this week. Come on guys. With that said, this has been the Game Ping. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon to be notified when new videos drop. I've been your host, Brandon Alanis. See you all soon.